Hello, greetings everyone, and welcome to another edition of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. I'm Craig Nolan. Thanks for joining us, ladies.
And I'm Valerie Young. Great to be here.
Thank you, and I'm Aparna Singh. Happy to be here.
Filling in tonight for Mr. Daniel, who's somewhere,
yes.
but he's not here.
He's enjoying the summer heat in California.
Yeah, I guess he is.
Yeah, it's been hot though.
So
I will say it's been extremely hot.
It has been hot, and we hope you're staying cool out there. And thanks for joining us for this edition of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News, and we'll get right to it. My News for Seniors glasses on a little early here tonight, if you don't mind. Here we go. Well, some good news is in the offing for Metro Rail riders in Crystal City. A much-needed second entryway has been given the green light from the Arlington County Board. The location is Crystal Drive at 18th Street South. The new entrance will provide distinctive street-level access, 3 new elevators, stairs, and an underground passageway to existing rail platforms. Metro riders will also gain convenient access to Metro Way, ART buses, and Virginia Railway Express trains. The new design was greatly influenced by the Americans with Disabilities Act. This act also includes plans for a nearby pedestrian bridge connection to Reagan National Airport and the Route 1 Multimodal Improvements Project. Plans for this new entrance date back to the year 2010 when the county introduced the Crystal City Sector Plan. The plan has also included bringing Amazon's second headquarters to Arlington. Metro riders living and working on Crystal Drive will now save about 3 to 5 minutes walking time while trying to access the new station. The new entryway, this final design process is expected to begin before the end of the summer, and that sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, I think
I'm excited about the Amazon.
A new entryway, Metro down there in Crystal City.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great entrance. I think.
Valerie.
Thanks, Craig. So we got some interesting news here. Arlington County has been named the #1 digital county in the United States. It has been recognized by the Center for Digital Government and the National Association of Counties. The Digital County Survey Award provides an annual measure of technology performance through open government, strategic planning, cybersecurity, and operations. Arlington County stood out for its efforts through customer service, continued commitment to equity, and technology innovation. Arlington has shown several important areas of growth, including increased security for government applications that include user-friendly single sign-on solutions. The county also improved remote access solutions for teleworking. The Arlington Public Library app, which includes access to library collections, new account features, and timely information programs, has also earned much praise for its enhancements. More than 50,000 users have downloaded this app and more recently added 2,000 new users. Arlington County recently received their Digital County Survey Award earlier this summer at the National Association of Counties annual conference and exposition in Austin, Texas. Aparna?
Arlington poet Courtney LeBlanc has been selected as the 3rd poet laureate of Arlington County. She will serve as an advocate for poetry and literacy arts and will raise Arlingtonians' consciousness and appreciation of poetry in both written and spoken forms. LeBlanc is the author of the full-length collections, Her Whole Bright Life, Exquisite, Bloody, Beating Heart, and Beautiful and Full of Monsters. Her other achievements include being the founder and editor-in-chief of Riot, In Your Throat, an independent poetry press, as well as a fellow at the Virginia Center of Creative Arts. The selection process for Arlington Poet Laureate is a competitive one. Candidates must be at least 18 years of age and residents of the county. All entries are received by Cultural Affairs staff and Judge Celeste Doakes. Doakes is the author of many award-winning books of poetry, including Not Without Our Laughter, Cornrows and Cornfields, and American Her Story. The mission of Arlington's Cultural Affairs program is to create, support, and promote the arts while reflecting the diversity of Arlington. Take it away, Craig.
All right, thanks, Aparna. Moving on now with some of our CBB, or Community Bulletin Board items, and our first one tonight is about the Uncle Devin Show, which is taking place at Lubber Run Amphitheater. A musical experience about enacting change for all ages. The Uncle Devin Show brings you an interactive musical experience for children by drummer Devin Walker. The entire family will be able to experience a cross between DC's Trouble Funk and Schoolhouse Rock. Uncle Devin's band brings you an infectious blend of jazz, funk, and DC's official music, go-go. Walker is a teaching artist with both the Wolf Trap Institute for Easy Learning and Teaching for Change. He is also the owner of the children's online music platform, WEE Nation Radio. And finally, Uncle Devin can be seen as a member of the One Tribe Collective. Their album, All One Tribe, was nominated for a Grammy in 2022 for Best Children's Music Album. This event takes place on Sunday, August 5 from 11 a.m. to 12 noon at Lubber Run Amphitheater located at 200 North Columbus Street here in Arlington. Attendance is on a first-come, first-served basis, so get there early. You can also RSVP for an event reminder by email. For more information, email and visit the UncleDevinShow.com. You can also support One Tribe Collective by visiting OneTribeCollective.com. All right. Who's next?
It's me, Craig. I
It's
got
you. Is it you?
I got
I
it.
didn't see your name up there, so I figured maybe it had to be one or the other. You know, Valerie, you're up.
Thanks, Craig. Are you interested in joining a book club, but you're not sure what you might like to read? Expand your reading horizons and join Take a Chance Book Club. This is a book club that reads and discusses a different genre each month. For the month of August, there will be a discussion for the novel I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys. New members are always welcome, and the club generally meets the second Monday of the month at 7 p.m. at Westover Library. The book, I Must Betray You, is part of the young adult fiction genre. Again, the day and time will be Monday, August 14th, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the Longfellow Room at Westover Library. There will be a limited number of reserved print copies of the selected book made available at the Westover circulation desk. Books are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Patrons are encouraged to place holds on available print or digital copies. Registration is required, and for more information, email or call 703-228-3738. Aparna?
Thanks, Valerie. All right, get ready for kindergartner and join the kindergarten kickoff just in time for the new school year. If you have rising kindergartners, they can come in and enjoy stories and songs about what else? Starting school. Parents can meet in Arlington Public School and Arlington Public Library staff in another room to learn about resources for their kindergartners. Afterwards, you and your kindergartner will have the chance to work together on a special craft. Siblings are also welcome to come, but must stay with their parents. So this event takes place on Saturday, August 19th from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. in the Campbell Room of the Shirlington Library. It will also be held at the Columbia Public Library at 6:30 p.m. on August 22nd and 23rd. Another time and location will be at the Central Library at 10:30 a.m. on August 25th and 26th. Registration will be required, and for more information, call 703-228-6545. Take it away, Craig.
All right, thanks, Aparna. And also, we'll be back with more news after we take a look at Aparna's interview with Mike Van Meter, who is the host of Recovery is Possible. We'll be right back.
Welcome. I am excited today. My name is Aparna Sain, and I've got a great guest here today. We are going to be talking with Mike Van Meter. Welcome, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Mike is the host of Recovery is Possible. It's a show we have here on the Arlington Independent Media as well as on Apple Podcasts, and he's on a lot of different platforms. But Mike is a man of many talents. Because Mike has been, and I hope I cover everything here. He's retired, but he retired from the FBI Academy, and was a police officer, was a pilot, and also an FBI agent.
Yeah, and I did work some corrections in there too. Yeah, and it's amazing that all that time has flown by. But yeah, I did retire after 21 years from the FBI, but did all these other things. And
so recovery is, as you mentioned, it's one of the #1 health problems facing America. It always has been, and continues to be the #1 health problem in our nation today. So I'm wondering if you can share some insights on, what kind of inspired you to start working on this?
Yeah, well, what started all of this out is, I'll share with you in full disclosure, I'm in recovery myself for alcohol. And as you mentioned, I'm an a retired FBI agent, but I taught at the academy. I was blessed to have had that opportunity, and I got into recovery while I was in the FBI. And the program that I was a part of down at the academy was the program where we teach police executives on leadership issues for their personnel. And the big thing these days is wellness. In fact, in the field that you work in, we do a lot of that down at the FBI Academy. But because of my background, and I really thought that my agency mishandled me and others in recovery, being an instructor, I would voice that, I complained about that, and I will say that the FBI allowed me to develop a course because I was an instructor called Leading at-Risk Employees, which is still taught down there to this day, and I began teaching about addiction issues, particularly alcohol, prescription drug abuse. We also talked about PTSD, suicide, family violence with agencies. And I did that for about 7 years and taught that until I retired. And then after I retired, I got asked to go around the country to teach police officers, and I did that. And eventually, when COVID hit, my wife said, this seems like a passion of yours. Why don't you go back to school? So I went and got another master's degree and became a therapist. And now I work at a major hospital in a detox unit. And of course, do the podcast that you're mentioning. But that's what got me into this whole thing. And it's my passion now.
Yeah, and it's an inspirational story because now, especially post-COVID, as you had just mentioned, mental health is what we are focused on here. And I think that recovery is a portion of that, but I think that the larger mental health, all of us can benefit from some of the things that people go through as a recovery. Like you had mentioned that recovery is a form of awakening.
Yeah.
Well, mental health is something that we all need to, at all levels, whether we're recovering from addiction or just to kind of experience society the way it is today, with the stress, the burnout, the anxiety.
Yeah.
Mental health is the #1 health problem facing America today. Also.
It's always been a problem, and COVID just really magnified that. The number of suicides has grown exponentially, and when it comes to addiction issues, because people don't realize the extent of addiction because of the stigma associated with it. If you think about it, broken families, people losing their jobs, DUIs, people getting hurt due to alcohol and drugs, by the way, and that's another issue. Now we have this big push to legalize marijuana in the United States, and here in the Commonwealth of Virginia that's happened. That's a whole nother, I don't want to open that can of worms because I have some very definite opinions on that. But it's really, really become a problem, particularly post-COVID. And, just to put this in perspective, many people don't realize this, but we have more people die from just fentanyl overdoses. This is not even talking about the other drugs that are out there. More people die per month than died in the 10 years that we were involved in Vietnam. Most people don't realize that.
Yeah, and
that is phenomenal.
That is huge.
Right.
That is
and if
huge.
most people understood that, this would be the headline news every single day, and we would make every effort to combat it. And we have fentanyl pouring across the borders, and it's incredible. You and I talked about this. I don't know anyone that doesn't know someone with an addiction issue.
Yes.
Everyone does. Everyone is touched by this.
And we're all recovering from some form of addiction. So it may not be, the popular ones are things like food addiction. We're recovering from workaholism, PTSD. There's all sorts of recovery taking place every day. When you're recovering from alcohol, at least there's a program available. There are different places where people can reach out for 12 steps and all these other programs. When you're recovering, we're all recovering from something.
Yeah.
And so I think we all need to go through some sort of a mental health program just for our own sanity.
Well, you know, what's interesting is all those things that you talked about, whether it's gambling, whether it's sex,
Yeah,
whether it's
that's
food,
true.
too much, too little, gaming, video gaming, is our phones, right? We you know, people become addicted to these issues, but there are in fact 12-step programs for each one of these issues. There's over 600 12-step programs. A lot of people don't realize
Wow.
that. But you know,
I didn't know
really,
that, yeah.
Yeah, you know, but what happens when you think of the first step, right? The famous first step, the famous 12 steps. The first step for NAA, I'm
to
powerless
admit.
over alcohol. My life has become unmanageable. Those are the same 12 steps in Al-Anon, the same 12 steps in all of these other, with all of these other addictions. But you know, the only time that the addiction to the substance or issue is mentioned is in the first step. It's never mentioned again. The rest of the 12 steps are you really building your life, and everything is working towards a spiritual awakening. And I know that's your field, the
Yes,
spiritual
spiritual
awakening.
awakening.
But it's all about changing your thinking and transforming your life. And it's really just a good way of living your life. And everyone, whether they have an addiction issue or not, can
Exactly.
benefit from that.
Exactly. So I love that, right? So it's called self-realization on the spiritual
Yeah.
side. And every one of us should give that as a gift to ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I was so inspired by your show. And I love some of the stories you've shared of people you've never even met before said they joined the recovery program as a result of listening to your show. So we just
Yeah.
never know who we're touching.
You know, and for those that are listening, you never know who you're impacting. Most of the
Right.
people that you impact, you will never meet. And what you're talking about was a story. A friend of mine was actually traveling with his wife up into New Jersey. And he's from here in Virginia. And they just happened to be at a diner. And the waitress, and I don't know how they got into this conversation, but she started talking about being in recovery. And she said that she was inspired to be in recovery based on a podcast that she heard from a guy named Mike Van Meter. And my buddy's jaw dropped. And she said, yeah, I've been listening to this podcast, and it prompted me to get into a program of recovery, and I've been sober 2 years at that point, and his jaw
Wow.
just dropped. And so I think the lesson learned there is for each one of us, you know, you don't know who you're touching.
Yes.
You don't know you're
absolutely.
touching.
And so and we do this out of, I call it our passion project, right? So I do the Mindful Nation radio, you do the Recovery is Possible show, and we do this as kind of our love offering. But now Mike is on to another adventure. Mike is running for Senate
Yeah.
this November, so that is yet another adventure you've taken on. You want to share a little bit about that?
Sure. Like I don't do enough, right?
You're
So
right,
I'm running
exactly.
for the Virginia State Senate in the newly all the districts in not just the Senate, but across the House of the House down in Richmond. They've all been redistricted, so there are no incumbents. And so it's the 33rd district, which is Burke over to parts of West Springfield down through the I-95 corridor down to Dumfries. And the election is November 7th.
Yes.
Early voting starts about a month prior to that. And a big part of my platform is addiction, mental health,
Oh, good.
and then law enforcement, because we've really attacked and destroyed our law enforcement in the country, and that has led to less enforcement on human trafficking, less enforcement on drugs, just less enforcement on violent crimes.
In general,
and the thing.
especially after the
Yeah.
riots, right?
Yeah.
Is that-
And so I'm really running on improving that. And part of that, I want to make first responders in the Commonwealth of Virginia the best in the nation. And it's going to start with really increased training to our first responders having to do with mental health and addiction
Oh,
issues.
good.
Really that.
I am so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Totally on board. So remember to, we'll have you on again before the election, so I look forward to that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time, and
I
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much for all that you do.
And you too. I mean,
Thank
you're
you.
doing great service to the community. And thanks for watching.
Thank you for so much for being here with us today.
Oh, thank
It is
you.
lovely to have you here. It is very helpful to discuss the #1 health problem facing America today, mental health. And the way to find Mike is Mike's podcast, Recovery is Possible, his website, recoveryispossible.com. Mike also has a website for his political campaign called vanmeterforvirginia.com. And you can find him on the Mike Van Meter Show. So Mike's doing a lot here. Please get in touch with him. We look forward to having you in the future.
Oh, well, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks, Aparna. That was a great interview.
It was nice to catch up with Mike.
Oh yeah, I mean he has great things to talk about, really interesting things about addiction. It
I
was
love
really
his show, yeah.
great show. And for our final CBB item, we've got Make It Monday at Cherrydale. It's a Monday evening of crafting at Cherrydale, and each month this group will make a craft with sustainability in mind. This event is for adults ages 18 and over. It is a free event and registration is required. The next event will take place on Monday, August 21st from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. located in the loft at Cherrydale Library. For more information on this event, contact M. Davis at arlingtonva.us. And it looks like there's a waiting list for that, so you guys better hurry up.
popular.
And yeah, it seems like it's a popular event. Correct. Or Aparna, I think we can turn it over to you.
Thanks.
Yeah,
55
it
plus
says right here,
news.
Parpar.
Aurora Hill, it's time. It's summertime and a great time to get out there and socialize. Many of our stories in our news for 55 plus section revolve around social activities here in Arlington County. So without further ado, let's get started. In our first item for 55 plus news, we have Aurora Hills annual ice cream social.
Yay,
Yum.
ice cream,
Ice
ice cream.
cream.
Who
Y'all
doesn't love ice
ice
cream? What do y'all?
Spend a hot summer afternoon at the Aurora Hills 55 Plus Center with ice cream and live music. Expect to see performances by Ed Gervasi, Phil Rawson, and Judy McVeary. Admission is $3 at the door and cash only is accepted. The program is sponsored by the Aurora Hill Advisory Committee and the Alliance for Arlington Senior Programs. The next ice cream social will be on Tuesday, August 18th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. You don't want to miss this one. For more information on this event, visit arlingtonva.us/DPR or call 703-228-4747. Take it away, Craig.
All right. It says right here, too. I know this
Yep,
one.
that's
This one's
you.
mine. Here we go. All right, for our next 55 plus news story, it's all about line dancing. We've got introduction to beginner line dancing and the line dance practice. Beginners are welcome to learn steps such as the box step, the quarter turn, and the grapevine in a safe and friendly environment. Beginners, that is, will be able to join the more experienced dancers at weekly line dance practice sessions in no time. The introductory courses are held on Fridays at Aurora Hills from 10:15 to 11 a.m. in the morning. And for the regular line dance practice classes, no partners are needed this time around. Anyway, just bring your knowledge of basic line dance steps. The instructor will give you a quick demonstration of the sequence of steps, and then others can feel free to join in and dance along. Practice sessions are available for dancers of all experience levels, so sign up based on your preference. Session times are Thursdays at Arlington Mill from 1 to 2 in the afternoon, and Fridays at Aurora Hills from 11:05 to 12:05. Valerie.
Thanks, Craig. Sounds fun.
Sounds like fun.
Get your line dance on. Yahoo!
I love line dancing.
Absolutely. And tonight's next 55 plus item is about social ballroom dancing. Some more dancing there. You can enjoy the company of friends, both old and new, on a spacious dance floor. Some of the dance genres you will be participating in include the tango, the waltz, foxtrot, and swing. There will be no actual instruction provided, and partners are not needed. You will meet the first and third Thursdays of the month at Lubber Run and the fourth Friday of the month at Arlington Mill. For the first and third Thursdays at Lubber Run, sessions go from 2:15 p.m. to 3:15 p.m. And for the fourth Fridays in Arlington Mill, sessions go from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. And it sounds like I'm going to get out there and do some dancing, right?
Yeah, we better
So
catch
let's
it while
all
it's
go dancing.
available.
Exactly.
Let's go dance.
All right, for our final 55 plus news story, immerse yourself in the fascinating world of illusions. Wow, by visiting the Museum of Illusions. Washington, D.C.'s City Center Museum is a place where nothing ever is quite as it seems. With more than 50 visual and educational exhibits, get the chance to enjoy holograms, stereograms, and immersive rooms that are designed to tease the senses and trick the mind. You can also tour and dine on your own. There will be a fee of $36 for Arlington County residents and $44 for those outside of the county. The journey begins at 10:45 a.m. and you will return at 4 p.m. Wow. For this event and any other 55+ events, register online or by phone at arlingtonva.us/DPR or call 703-228-4747. And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Except for, I certainly hope the ice cream is not an illusion.
No,
The ice
I
cream
know,
is
we
right?
don't want that to be
Bring
an
it
illusion.
on, yeah, right.
Ice cream, you
I want to
scream,
grab
we all
some
scream
now.
for ice cream. Well, I guess that's about a wrap for this edition of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. We thank you all for bearing with us here and following us along here for this edition. Ladies, anything to say before we go?
Great show. Great show,
Another
Great
guys.
show.
great
Yeah.
Lots of
Thanks,
dancing,
Aparna.
ice cream.
Ice cream,
You
dancing.
can't expect a better.
And we're not
events
just
for
an
this.
illusion, we're real. We're here, you know. That Museum of Illusion sounds like a great place. I'd like to check that out myself.
Absolutely.
So thanks again for watching. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Aparna, for sitting in.
Thank you.
For
My
Mr.
pleasure.
Dean.
Thanks for
Come
having
back
me, you
and join
guys.
us anytime. And thanks to all of you for watching. Have a
Have a
great
good
week.
one.
Bye.
Take care. Be
Bye-bye.
safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the Arlington Weekly News. You can follow our show on YouTube. Just search the new Arlington Weekly News. We have a brand new YouTube channel. You can also listen to our show on WERA 96.7 FM.